Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Hologram Bam. And today we are taking a book out of Nuxtaku's belt here. And we're just looking at some lore. This lore is going to be the original Modern Warfare trilogy. So if you like the video, subscribe and turn on post notifications, and we will do a deep dive into all the lore and still not Taku's shtick here. Um, I will say if you also want me to do a little dive into the modern or the new Modern Warfare trilogy, I can, but I'm kind of wanting to wait on that until because it's been rumored that the next Call of Duty is going to be Modern Warfare 4, which don't think they should do, but hey, they're most likely going to do it anyways. But let me know down in the comments below, and then a third video we can do, make it a trilogy of our own, is just reacting to a video if there is one out there of the comparisons of the two and the differences between both trilogies. Um, But that's all up to you guys. Also, this was streamed on YouTube on this channel, so it's gonna have you have more incentive in turning on post notifications. So then you're not missing the live stream and just watching it live and interacting because I love to interact with the stream. So just check it out sometime. Check it out. But here we go.
Trilogy. So the Modern Warfare story actually begins well before the events of the game, taking place after some real-world events. On April 26, 1986, the Chernobyl disaster occurs. And if
So Chernobyl, okay.
you don't know what this is, basically it was the explosion of the number 4 reactor of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. This, of course, taking place in the north of the Ukraine.
Hold on, isn't it still, like, uninhabitable or something like that? I'm pretty sure it is. I swear. Um, okay. Is Chernobyl still dangerous? Is it still dangerous? Yes, Chernobyl remains dangerous in 2026, primarily due to persistent radiation and exclusion zones and recent damage from the ongoing Russia Ukraine. Oh, so it's further fucked up with the Russia Ukraine conflict, which has com- compromised safety structures and led to power disruptions. Okay. The site still contains hazardous radioactive materials like plutonium 90. Okay. Drone strike severely damaged the new safe confinement. A massive shield over reactor 4 designed to contain radiation. By confirmed, it has lost the primary function, increasing the risk of radiation leaks. Temporary repairs, but full restoration is needed to prevent the further issue. The plant lost external power during attacks, raising concerns about spent fuel cooling. Though meltdown risks are considered low due to reactor age, shut down since thousand. Tourism has been okay. Okay, so yeah, it's still dangerous as fuck. That's what I'm getting at.
Ukrainian SSR, which at the time was part of the Soviet Union. Which, when we fast forward to December 26, 1991, after the end of the Soviet Afghan War, we start to see the Soviet Union dissolve. This is going to be
Yep.
incredibly important because a lot of people in Russia very strongly disagreed with that. One of which being a person by the name of Imran Zakhaev. And in his
Imran
undutiful
Zakhaev. Ooh.
hand, as you're going to see, he goes out and decides to be a weapons dealer, working for Russia behind the scenes to once again try to take over. Now, in winter of 1996,
So, is he a weapons dealer that also works for Russia, or is he dealing weapons for Russia?
so around 5 years later, we see the British government order the assassination of Imran Zakhaev, and they send two operators, one of Captain Macmillan and John Price.
Is this Captain Price? Mr. Captain Price? He might be a. Um, it's almost guaranteed to be, I'm assuming. I don't want to have any spoilers yet. Um, what else was I gonna say? I forgot. Um, I don't remember.
They are sent to deal with Imran Zakhaev. They are sent into Pripyat, and this is, of course, after the fact of the Chernobyl disaster. So they
Okay.
are sent into this radioactive area where Imran Zakhaev is working on a weapons deal currently involving some nuclear material. And when they get there, they set up
All
a
right.
sniper's nest and go to work. They take a shot, but it misses. It shoots Imran Zakhaev in the arm, him losing his arm. But
Blew off his arm. Oh, that's it. That's tragic. That sucks.
luckily, two people by the name of Yuri and Vladimir Makarov are
Okay.
waiting in a getaway car, and Imran Zakhaev manages to escape. Now, on this mission, Captain Macmillan ends up getting wounded, but Captain Price is able to help him out, and they are both able to get to safety. Now, one thing that people may not know about this timeline is from the year 2001 to 2011, Makarov was working behind the scenes to quite literally cause terror. In 2001, Makarov bombs a Moscow City bus, as well as detonates bombs in Piccadilly Circus. This is different than
Okay.
what we saw in the current Modern Warfare timeline. He destroys oil tankers in the Mediterranean Sea. He robs banks, hijacks cruise ships, and even rigs explosives in Moscow at
Why
a
is he
soccer
doing it in
stadium before the
Russia?
government stops it. And
That's my whole
basically,
thing.
there's a
There's
pipe
the
burst and prevents the
He
match
wants the
from
Soviet
happening, and
Union to come
therefore
back, but
Makarov
he's
doesn't
gonna
detonate the bombs. And you may
terrorize
be
Russia
wondering why he's
themselves.
doing this and why he's doing this to Russia. That is because behind the scenes, four horsemen are working together, creating
Okay.
a party called the Russian Ultra Nationalist Party, led by none other than Imran Zakhaev. The
Okay.
reason for this
Hold on. Can I guess? To bring back the SSR.
is to cause the Second Russian Civil War between the Russian government loyalists, in other words, Russia, and the ultra nationalists, the rebels,
Okay.
who believe that the Soviet Union still should be a thing.
Yeah.
This
Okay. There we
triggers
go.
the events of Modern Warfare 1, or Call of Duty 4. Now, this takes place in the year 2011. Now, we don't have exact dates as the day is
Okay.
labeled Day Zero, but at this point, Sergeant Soap McTavish impresses Captain John Price through the CQB course.
Okay. It is
He
Captain
completes
Price.
one
Okay.
and starts
Sweet.
to work alongside Captain Price.
Right. What the hell kind of name is Soap, eh? How'd a muppet like you pass selection?
The
Oh
next day,
snap!
Soap and
Soap.
Price, along with a small SAS team, are sent into the Bering Sea, which is carrying some sort of nuclear material from the ultranationalists to someone by the name of Khalid al-Assad, which by the time they get to that nuclear material, the ship is then sunk by a Russian attack. Now, at the same time, Khalid al-Assad takes over a Middle Eastern country backed by Imran Zakhaev. And what they do is perform a coup d'etat where they assassinate President Yasser al-Fulani. In the next day, Captain Price,
Hold
where
on.
they assassinate backed by Imran Zakhaev. And what they do, Assad takes over a Middle Eastern country attack. Now, at the same time, Khalid al-Assad takes over a Middle Eastern country backed by Imran Zakhaev. And what
Okay.
they do is perform a coup d'etat where they assassinate President Yasser al-Fulani. In the next day, Captain Price, Gaz, and Soap McTavish infiltrate some mountains within Russia where they rescue their informant from the inside by the name of Nikolai. He is currently being held
Nikolai.
by the ultranationalist forces. It is at this time that all of them, including Nikolai, are
How come he kind of looks like Kennedy in this, the Nikolai in this at least this frame? Kind of. Do you guys see it? Please tell me you guys see that.
shot down by a SAM missile, and with the help of an AC-130, they manage to reach extraction. It is at the same time that U.S. Marine forces are sent into the country that is being, at the time, led by Khalid al-Assad. They include Sergeant Griggs, Paul Jackson, Vasquez, and they track Khalid al-Assad down to a TV station. However, as
Okay.
it is found out, this is a little bit of a trap because Khalid al-Assad isn't there whatsoever.
So they
Now, a
were
group of Marines work
ready,
their
or they
way
knew
through
they
the
were
capital
coming.
city in a mission called Operation Warpig. Now, at this point, they are surrounded and they work on extraction, and eventually they do. Yet, at the same time, Yuri watches on as
Also, real quick, I do want to say, um, I know like jack shit about the original Modern Warfare lore. I was more into Black Ops as a kid, and I didn't really play any of the Modern Warfare campaigns. Although I will say I do not remember much of the Black Ops campaigns and all the lore there, even though I did do a few videos on them. So we'll probably do a video on that as well.
Vladimir Makarov detonates a nuclear device from Khalid al-Assad's safe house just outside of the
Okay.
blast radius. When he does so, he detonates.
So he was
and
just sitting there and
kills
seeing everything.
30,000 Marines who were all sent in by General Shepard.
Holy
Now,
shit.
just one day later, Task Force 141 locates Khalid al-Assad. And at this point, they don't realize Khalid al-Assad is working with Imran Zakhaev. However, during an interrogation, let's just say Captain Price takes care of that.
Who? Give me a name. A name. I want his name.
That's a way for an. Ooh. Getting choked out. That's one way to interrogate his ass, I guess. Damn.
Who was that, sir?
Zakhaev. Imran Zakhaev.
Now, 8 hours after Khalid al-Assad's death, ultranationalist forces
Alright.
attack the kind of village where the SAS operatives are. However, it gets dicey, but the Marines end up moving in and allow the SAS and the Marines to escape the area. However, now knowing that Imran Zakhaev is working alongside Khalid al-Assad, who is now deceased, they move their attention to not Imran Zakhaev, but rather his son, Viktor Zakhaev. They end up...
Ah, shit! Going after the son to get the dad to come out. That's the plan. That's the plan. I'm assuming is going to happen. Is that they're going to use the son to have the dad come out and surrender himself? Maybe. Maybe this is a little prediction. Okay, these are like what? I'm assuming it came out what? 09, I think. No, that's MW2, isn't it? Here. No, it came out in 2007. I was way up. 2007. It takes place in 2011. Obviously, they're gonna fucking have it take place in 2011. So, because we don't know what's gonna happen in the future, so they're just having a future, whatever. Okay, so this takes place 4 years in the future from game release. Okay, good context. Good context. So when this game was released, I was 3 years old. God damn. Damn. So this 17-year-old game, man.
tracking him down, and, well, we all know how this one ends.
So, take his weapon and restrain him.
know where to run.
His son shot himself?
Now, at this
Okay.
point, needless to say, Imran Zakhaev is not very happy.
He's
and he
pissed.
provides them with an ultimatum. Either the US and British forces leave Russia, or he is going to perform another nuclear attack. However, the US and the British forces have a little bit of information on Imran Zakhaev. They know exactly where he is planning on launching these ICBMs.
Oh,
With
where they're
nuclear devices from,
launching.
and they
Okay.
break into the facility, eventually working their way through the missile silos and stopping the attack from ever happening.
I was
However, Imran
thinking they know
Zakhaev
where he
is
was
in
at.
the facility at the time, so by the very end, there's kind of this chase throughout the mountains where eventually they end up getting stopped on
I'm
a bridge.
assuming he gets away.
However, at this point, it seems as though the ultranationalists now have the upper hand, and as Imran Zakhaev's walked down the bridge towards Soap McTavish, fire is going on, but they have one last trick up their sleeve. An M1911 that
Okay.
Captain Price keeps on him. But Captain Price is injured, and when he does, he grabs his weapon, slides it over to Soap McTavish, and well, Soap takes care of the rest.
Soap's a fucking G! Shoot him in the head! Right in the fucking dome. There it is. Okay. My whole thing is, okay, buddy gets shot. Two people get shot, you're not gonna look back. I know it's a game, but like, in that situation, are you assuming that they're finishing off the enemies? Is that what's going on?
Now, it is between the year 2011 and 2013 that General Shepard takes over command of not just the Navy SEALs, Rangers, but also the British SAS, putting them all together into something called Task Force 141. People such as Soap McTavish, John Price, and someone new by the name of Ghost all joined together.
Ghost,
AKA
okay.
Simon Riley. It is also at this time where we see the origin story of Simon Ghost Riley through his comics. He infiltrates a hostage situation in a school in Ukraine and manages to save the hostages, while also telling his origin story about Manuel Roba, as well as how he, well, became a ghost. It is also at this time where Vladimir Makarov takes over.
Dude, they need to make another Call of Duty Ghost. I don't care how bad it was received, dude. That was a pretty good, pretty good campaign, at least. My favorite part was to go in the credits or whatever and watch, because I'm pretty sure it was is it just the song, or I think the music video was on it too, of Survival by Eminem, and I would jam that shit, dude. I swear to God.
Imran Zakhaev's post as his protege and now the leader of the Russian ultra-nationalist party. And with this, Task Force 141 plans an operation by the name of Kingfish, where John Price, Simon Ghost Riley, Soap McTavish, and Gary Roach Sanderson, a new operator, are sent in to go in and take out Vladimir Makarov. However, this turns out to be a trap, and in doing so, Soap McTavish gets wounded, and John Price, Captain Price, ends up getting captured and sent to a gulag. Also, I couldn't really
sent to the gulag
because for some reason this cutscene is copyrighted, and whoever made it makes it, so
that
I can't put it on my channel.
sucks.
So you'll just have to deal with still images from that one. We then go to the year 2016. At this point, Imran Zakhaev is a martyr, and all of Russia is now starting to back the ultra-nationalists. In fact, even a statue is constructed in his memory, hailing him as the hero of Moscow. Now, it's at this time when a new soldier by the name of Joseph Allen.
So, okay, so he's modern. Russia thinks he's in the right. Blah blah blah. Okay. All right. And then that's when you nuke Russia. I mean, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You don't want to nuke Russia because they can nuke you back and blah blah blah. Yada yada yada. I guess. But it's gonna be funny if Trump grabbed Putin like he did Maduro. I don't think that would ever happen, just because I'm pretty sure there's a thing that like every 12 hours or so, Putin has to like do whatnot, and if not, it'll automatically set off nukes to shoot off wherever. So yeah, I guess. Unless somebody can turn him off, but like, you know what I mean?
Moves into a town in Afghanistan, taking the area from the enemies, and by the very end, General Shepard is impressed and handpicks Joseph Allen to be reassigned to the CIA. The day after, we see our new captain, Captain John Soap McTavish, alongside a new soldier by the name of Gary Roach Sanderson. They're in a mountain range alongside a new soldier, our new captain, Captain John Soap McTavish, alongside a new soldier by the name of Gary Roach Sanderson.
So Soap
in a mountain
became a
range
captain.
in Kazakhstan, where they are searching for a satellite ACS module, which fell into some hands of some Russians. They worked their way through a snowstorm, eventually planting C4 throughout the base, and upon finding the module, they end up having to use that C4 and eventually manages to escape using snowmobiles. Now remember how we were talking about Joseph Allen? Just one day later, on August 12th, 2016, we move to Zakhaev International Airport. You see, Joseph Allen, working for the CIA, was sent undercover to work alongside Vladimir Makarov. Now, they all do this under the direction of Yuri, who we saw earlier and is working with Makarov, but realizes the bad things that he's doing. But Makarov figures this all out, shoots Yuri in the parking garage, and then knows that Joseph Allen, or as he's disguised as Alexei Borodin, was sent in and embedded by the CIA. So they pull out this attack on Zakhaev International Airport, which, if you guessed it, was named after Imran Zakhaev. And by the
you have to do this, don't you?
Makarov,
Yeah.
being a step ahead, shoots Alexei Borodin, or Joseph Allen, and leaves him behind, making it look like the people behind this attack were none other than American, causing World War III. Now, at this time, Task Force 141 hears word about a Russian informant inside a Russian gulag who has information on Vladimir Makarov and the ultranationalists, and he is known by the code name Prisoner 627. So Task Force 141 is sent into the gulag to retrieve this prisoner, and when they get there, they are greeted with a very welcome surprise.
The fuck? You could have hit him in the head?
Drop it! So? Place? This belongs to you, sir. Who's Soap?
Who's Soap? Worm, you work with them and you don't know who Soap is?
Now, after Soap McTavish gives Captain Price his M1911 back, Price is back on the job. Now, in
It is
response to
Price,
all of this,
okay.
Russia is now out to get America, and the attacks start to begin. They are sent in directly into Washington, where the U.S. Navy SEALs, along with the U.S. Army Rangers, are forced to defend the United States. And in this alone, an EMP is sent in, crushing the U.S. Army, and the Russian military is able to move in. But here is the thing. The whole America getting caught thing was actually General Shepard's plan in the beginning, because now that they are at war, he essentially has a blank check to do whatever he wants with. And his job is now to stop the war. And in doing so, he has so much money he can hire his own people, including Shadow Company, to try to stop this. Here's the thing, Makarov also knew what was going on. On August 15th, 2016, Roach and Ghost are then sent into one of Makarov's safe house to find some intel that he...
Dude, you know what's crazy is when this came out, 2016 was 9 years away, and now it is 10 years ago. Holy shit. Holy shit.
He has on a DSM. And they work their way up to this kind of chateau, cottage, whatever you want to call it, and they find this DSM. And when they're finally getting extracted and everything seems to be going horribly, General Shepard shows up to save the day. Here's the thing. He wasn't there to save the day. He was there to take the intel and bury the information, because now he was completely safe, because now he had all this money to wage war with, and on top of this, the evidence of his betrayal had now been covered up.
We have the DSM. We've got it, sir. Good. That's one less loose end.
Damn. Fucking traitor!
Area is sanitized. All
Oh, that sucks. So he wanted this to happen. And they just get thrown out like nothing. That's tragic. Wait, so is Shepard working with Russia, or is he doing this out of his own merit to be able to full on fight Russia? I think he's doing
But
it
here's
on his
the
own
thing. We
merit.
still have a couple people working together. Captain Price, Soap McTavish, and on top of that, Nikolai are all in a boneyard. They have
Nikolai,
a
okay.
conversation with Makarov where he says the enemy of thy enemy is now my friend. And he actually gives us, the good guys, Captain Price, information as to where General Shepard is hiding, somewhere by the name
Okay.
of Hotel Bravo. And with this information given out, Vladimir Makarov goes into hiding, and Captain Price and Soap McTavish go in and hunt down General Shepard. They get sent into Hotel Bravo, and by the very end, they end up chasing down and finding General Shepard. They chase him down.
I'm so confused. So is Shepard going rogue, right? Or are they going rogue because he tried to kill them and they're trying to get him? I'm confused.
the whole sequence, just like we had at the end of Call of Duty 4, but this time we get to General Shepard. And when everything seems lost, Soap is extremely injured and just stabbed, and well, honestly, Shepard is beating the crap out of Price. We get the throwing knife.
Right in the eye! Damn! Motherfucking squashed! He's dead. Or at least has no eyeball.
From here, Nikolai moves in with a little bird and manages to bring out Captain Price and Soap McTavish, even though Soap is very, very wounded. Now, one thing that I love about Modern Warfare 3 is it actually picks up right after the end of Modern Warfare 2 on the exact same day, August 17th, 2016.
That's
Now,
cool.
it's at this time where Nikolai has to extract John Price and Soap McTavish, and they bring them to northern India as a chance to kind of heal up. And
Okay.
it's at this time where they are then attacked by some of Makarov's forces, obviously trying to hunt down the Task Force 141 members. However, they manage to escape and end up relocating to Africa of all places. It's at the same time, though, where Delta Force with Frost and Sandman are waging a war on Wall Street. They are fighting, once again, the Russian forces as they have put up a bunch of jammers and equipment in New York, and they have to obviously stop them. And they able to do so and eventually end up infiltrating a Russian submarine, which again, they end up stopping. Later in the year, on October 3rd, Russian President Boris Vorshevsky flies to Hamburg to negotiate a peace treaty with NATO. However, this is something that Makarov does not want, so his plane is hijacked by Makarov's ultra-nationalists and actually crashed. And well, this is what Makarov does.
Russia will take all of Europe, even if it must stand upon a pile of ashes. I want the launch codes, Mr. President.
You'll never get them.
Every man has his weakness. Find the girl.
Damn.
Kills the entire security detail of the president and takes him and his daughter hostage, all in hoping to get nuclear launch codes from the president. Now, Makarov ends up getting his hands on some chemical weapons and leads out some attacks on major cities around the world, one of which is London, Paris, and these are
Okay, so I thought at some point they became the Russian government. So no, this whole time they were just a terrorist organization. Okay, good to know. Good to know.
absolutely devastating. He does this to then prompt the Russian invasion of these areas. Now, it is at this time where Task Force 141 is trying to figure out who is providing these weapons. And it starts with an interrogation of someone.
Or maybe not a terrorist
One by-
organization, like seen by the people of Russia because they seen Amar or whatever the fuck that dude's name was as a martyr. So I'm assuming it's kind of split in half, I guess, or somewhat something like that.
The name of Warabi, an African arms dealer, who then gives them the information on who's supplying the chemical weapons, someone by the name of Volk. Sandman and Frost are then sent in to track down Volk, and they do so, interrogate him, and they give the intel as to where Makarov is to Price, Soap McTavish, and Yuri. And where they are sent is into Russian invaded Prague. And when seemingly they finally have the upper hand, they have Vladimir Makarov, he's going to be in their sniper scope, everything is twisted on its head. Komarov is captured and killed, in fact, blown up. And on top of that, Makarov knew about Yuri and Yuri telling Soap and Price about everything. And basically, Makarov is still one step ahead.
Okay, so we knew everything with what everything was going on.
McTavish.
So, not now, son. Just rest. Get a medic! Come on, stay with me, son. Price.
Dang.
You have to go now! Get off me! I'm sorry.
That's sad. He was with us in Modern Warfare 1. Oh no!
Now, on October 13th and October 14th, what ends up happening is Nikolai contacts Sandman and Delta Force about what is going on with the Russian president's daughter, Alina Vorchevsky. Now, as far as she goes, she is being held in a Siberian diamond mine. So, Task Force 141 and Delta Force go in a joint operation to go in and save her. And that is exactly what they do. And upon saving her, the Russian president then realizes the bad guys aren't the Americans. The real bad guys are the ultranationals.
Okay, so the president thought the ultranationalists were good people, and then so he was allowing. Okay, that makes more. Okay, why did I not realize that? That's crazy.
And specifically, Vladimir Makarov. This event of saving his daughter is what puts an end to World War III. Task Force 141 becomes reinstated and is no longer held a prisoner of war due to what happened with General Shepard. And now they have one last thing to do. Find and kill Vladimir Makarov. And the three people that do this are Captain Price, Yuri, and Nikolai. They go to an area called Hotel Oasis, which is the Arabian Peninsula. They track down Makarov to a specific building and work their way up to the top. When they get there, Makarov and Captain Price have their final standoff.
Goodbye, Captain Price. Ooh, fuck. Our boy is dead. Okay, that's tragic. This is Makarov, right? He's fighting. Damn, buddy is strangling the fuck out of him. Ooh! I mean, it is a life or death situation. And then they fall through the glass. Is he hung? Oh, shit! Oh, fuck. But he was hanged! That's crazy!
And this is what puts an end to the original Modern Warfare 3 trilogy. The one pulling all of these strings behind the scenes is none other than Vladimir Makarov. And when Captain Price finally takes him out, that puts an end to the original Modern Warfare story.
Damn!
So that is it. That is the entire
Damn!
timeline all the way up until January 1st, 2017, where the end of the story actually happens. Now, these videos take forever to put together, so if you enjoy them, be sure to hit that like button. It shows me you want to see more time.
Guys, that was actually damn. Okay. This was made by Ink Slasher. I will leave the original. Excuse me, the original video in the description below, so you can show him some love. Definitely liking that. But I mean, that's the end of the video. So that's it, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you in the next one. Peace.